Right. Sorry, guys.
You are the queen.
Do I? No.
If we get David's hat, we'll put it on yours.
And you might blend in better.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We all have no,
Listen, we have to tell
you. Should we all hold hands?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a seance, so that's interesting. Let us friends. Close your eyes, that's second silence.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. We're going to do a nice group interview for about 20 minutes, so until about 2:30. I'll come round to each of the press in the room and ask you a question. I'm going to try and get round to each of you. I really do appreciate if I can't get through quite all of you. If I could ask the wonderful cast with us just to go through and introduce yourselves, and then I'll kick off with the first person.
I'm Barton, I'm the writer.
I'm Colm, McCarthy, I'm the director.
Lycurgo, play Nathan Byrne.
Nadia Parks, I play Annalise.
I'm Emilien Vekemans, I play Gabriel.
I'm Gyasi, I play Marcus Edge.
That's great.
Am I allowed to say that now?
Yeah.
So you play Nadia.
So if you kick off the first question from Dave at Town, please.
Okay. Joe, how did you come up with the concept for the show?
Well, I read the book. I got sent the book. I don't know, 8 years ago. Initially, we were thinking about doing it as a movie. And then that didn't work. And then so years later, we did it as a TV show. But yeah, so they sent me the novel and the Imaginary bought it, and I read it and thought, yeah, this would make a good 8 hours of content one day. And here we are.
Okay, for Jay, what sort of approach did you take? Did you look at the source material or stay away from it when deciding how you play your character?
Yeah, we stayed away from it just because we knew Joe was going to do his own interpretation of it. We had the foundations from Sally Green, so looking at Nathan Byrne, it was a lot of looking at his attributes and who he was, but I knew I wanted to make my own version, a bit more charming.
Just the actors really. What was your introduction to the source material and your initial reaction to it? Like, I'm going to be part of this world. What were the feelings that came with that?
Apprehension. I think Joe kind of converted me into a fantasy person.
Okay.
I actually previously wasn't.
Okay, not even Lord of the Rings?
To be honest,
Thank God Andy's not here now.
I know. To be honest, mainly Harry Potter was like what I grew up on, but
Okay.
I was kind of nervous to take on the world, and the challenges that come with like creating a really like relatable human in there. But that's not hard because I got Joe's writing to help that. So yeah.
For me, it was, I think when I got the scene at the audition the first time, I really liked it, like just on the spot, because the character was like so fun and so quirky, can you say? And so it was like working for the first time on the scene. I was like, okay, I want to play this guy. I want to play this character.
Yeah, I feel like for me it was, it's when you get wrapped up into the world really. What I really liked about Joe's writing is that you can have a fantasy world but also it's very human. And I just liked how emotional and intense Nathan was, and I knew that would be a huge challenge for me, but also that he is also very light, and that was really exciting.
So when I got sent the material, I'd just been to a Comic Con actually with my son, and who's in the audience, who's probably a bit like, why am I in this room and not out there?
With the adults.
But we had just met another son and a dad, and this dad fascinated me. He had a real kind of checkered past, and he was just loving his son, and they had an amazing relationship. The sort of dad that you would see, and maybe the society would outcast this man. But spending the day with him, I just had so much admiration and inspiration from meeting him. And then as these things tend to happen, then I got sent this script, and Marcus Edge was this character, and I phoned my friend who sent me the script. It wasn't nepotism, I did have to audition. And I was like, I met this guy. And then I just felt like I had to do it so that my son could come to Comic Con and we could
Was it an MCM Comic Con, sorry?
Anime.
Anime Con.
Yeah, not Comic Con. Anime Con. Anime. Yeah, good listening. Thanks.
Wonderful viewer.
Oh, yes. Who of you is the most dangerous witch and why?
Ooh, probably Nadia. Huh?
Yeah.
You're the
In real life.
No, in real life.
Also. I would say me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
No.
Right?
You have the most dangerous power.
I have the most
that's
dangerous
for sure.
power, so
Yeah,
it would be me who's the most dangerous.
That's really the most dangerous.
I can't do nothing. I get beat up too much. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're.
That's the most dangerous. But actually,
I can jog really fast.
Well, technically you are.
Technically the most dangerous.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think he might be the most feared.
Most
But
feared,
when you get
but
to
yeah.
know him, I mean, I've seen your power. I've watched the whole thing. That's dangerous.
That is.
Yeah.
That's a
You
lot.
don't want to fight against
But
that.
yeah, I'd say Marcus is. He might be the most. He might have the fiercest reputation. But if we do get a chance to explore that more, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, then we might find that. Yeah.
Mark, would you like to ask your question?
I didn't have one.
That's absolutely fine. Russell, do you have
Yeah, I'll ask two to make up for Mark. I guess, I mean, for a wonderful writer and director, for people who aren't familiar with the source material, you can maybe tell us a little bit about what's unique about the world this series is taking us into. And for our lovely cast, likewise, for people who aren't familiar with the source material, you can maybe just tell us a little bit about where each of your characters fit into that world and what is most interesting about the journey they're going on throughout this wonderful batch of episodes.
Do you want this source material? You haven't had to answer. Have you read the source material?
I've not read the source material.
I'll
talk about what's unique about it as a show, but yeah, do source material.
The source material. Well, I think what's unique about the source material is which we tried to sort of use when we were adapting, was that it's very grounded. It's sort of fancy, but it definitely takes place in the real world, and it's more interested, I think, in sort of a sort of on boots on the ground sort of view of magic and how it might exist within the structure of our society without sort of doing there isn't a sort of I don't want to talk about Harry Potter, but there isn't a Hogwarts, there isn't like a magic train and stuff. It's like it's your neighbour could be a witch or your teacher or whatever. That's sort of the thing that interested me, and that the sort of stakes of the central characters felt very true to life and just sort of normal sort of teenage stuff, but taking place in this fantastical arena.
Yeah, I guess a lot of YA shows and movies, I think, sort of patronise their audience a bit. And my kids read a lot of books that then got adapted into TV shows where they reduced the amount of violence in them and the amount of gore, and the stakes therefore get smaller, and the emotional intensity. And I sort of think that what's exciting about kids in their late teens is the level of emotional intensity that's going on for them, and it's quite fun to make a show that's got that plus all the viscera and the gore that are in a lot of that kind of material, because I think that people who like those sort of supernatural YA books, often what they love about them is the kind of the horror and the danger and the kind of coming awareness of morbidity that comes in teenage life. But you know, Joe managed to do an amazing thing in the scripts, which was do all of that with it, but then make it really funny as well. And that kind of swinging between the light and the dark is like super fun, I think, for an audience.
What was your question again, Paul?
Well, I guess just for people who aren't familiar with your characters, you know, a little bit about who they are, where they fit into the world, and what's going on with them as we follow them on their own individual journey this season.
Yeah, I think with Nathan is that he doesn't. I think that's what's really sad. Is like he's very isolated and lonely, and you know, he hasn't got his dad because he's off killing. His mum is dead since he was young, so you know, and he has it. You know, no, but yeah, but he has his gran that loves him a lot, and it's just that.